me, the jab's the most important. My jab, if I can bother you with my jab, then I can make my opponent want to chase me and feel this. Have a look at Georges St-Pierre. Let's take a more in-depth look at the jab. Just to explain, I'm in a boxing ring. That's fortunate for me that I have that. Okay, I understand that you don't. You don't need any equipment. This could be your living room floor. I'm not going to take up much space. Okay, I just happen to be here. It's where the best light is, in the gym. All right, so don't think you need a lot of space. You definitely don't. So the jab, like we said in our brief introduction, the most important punch in boxing. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get in my stance. Okay, both my feet are pointing towards my opponent. We want to try and avoid having this back foot planted and pointing outwards. Okay, so that's one thing that we can work on. It's a common problem. It's one thing we can work on in this time in isolation, is to get our feet pointing towards our opponent. That's where we want to be predominantly. Okay, we're back in the stance as discussed before. So left foot forward, right foot back, and my tight rope in the middle that I never really want to tread on. Okay, for the sports that we do, MMA, okay, and more professional style boxing, we can have a bit of a squarer stance. Amateur boxers tend to point fight, so they tend to get a little bit more side on and reduce their target. We want to be a little bit more square, a little bit more versatile, okay? What we're going to do then from our stance, we're going to look at the jab. The jab is a straight punch, i.e. it goes straight from you to your target, okay? Hooks, uppercuts, all different, okay? But jab is a straight punch, the quickest route from your face to your opponent's face and back again. That's what we're looking for. So, when I go to throw the jab, we'll talk about just the mechanics of the arm first. My elbows are tucked in, my thumb is in touching distance of my cheekbone, and my palm is facing towards my face, okay? What I'm gonna do as I start to extend then, is I come out straight. No elbow lift, it's a straight punch. I come straight here, at the very last minute, I'm gonna twist my hand over, so I've got extension in the arm, and the big prominent knuckles making contact with the face. That's really important. Imagine an elastic band now, attached to your thumbnail and your cheekbone. As soon as that elastic band gets to its fullest extent, it's going to pull itself back to my cheekbone. Okay, what you'll see a lot is people will jab, the hand will come down and then return to the face. That little gap in time of defending yourself could leave you open to a shot. So the jab, elbow tucked in, arm comes out straight, we turn the hand over. By turning the hand over and that arm coming out straight, look where my chin ends up. My chin's covered, so I've got that little bit of protection here now. What we don't want to be doing is reaching with our jab and separating our chin from our shoulder. Okay, so as we come out straight, we turn, we make that sharp snapping motion at the end to generate a little bit of power and snap, and then the elastic band kicks in and pulls it straight back to our chin, like so. Like so. There are many ways to jab, okay? We just looked at a single jab thrown with no hip turn. It might just be me feeling out where my opponent is, okay, getting an idea of range. I'm not looking to land with any power, I'm just looking to touch and maybe release something else, okay? If I'm stepping slightly out of range, obviously I'm short, sometimes I need to create a bit of closure to close the distance, okay? In that case, I'm gonna step my lead foot when I jab. This also generates a little bit more power, all right? So as I go to jab, I might take this step, boom. All it's done is given me a little bit more range, okay, or close the distance. Boom. Stepping in. Boom. Here. Boom. Boom. Just a little step, or a big step. Okay, if I want to close the distance, I never want to just walk in and close the distance. That's when I'm going to get picked off. My head's on the center line, so I can look to close the distance. Close the distance, come in nice and tight. Use that jab to get me nearer to my opponent. The jab is very versatile. We haven't done double jabs, triple jabs, multiple jabs, jab the head, jab the body. We can look at the jab in more detail in further series. But for now, let's work on a jab with no movement, a jab with a step. So we want to get the body mechanics right. If you do this 10,000 times exactly right, subconsciously, that's how it's going to happen. So over this next few weeks, if you practice that religiously every day, just do 100 jabs every day in the correct format that we want to learn by. then by the end of this period, you can have a really nice, smooth jab without even thinking about it. And keep yourself safe, keep yourself protected with all your other hands. One thing to remember when I jab, is I see this a lot too. One, I've uncovered the protection from my face. Okay, so I'm vulnerable on this side, okay, to the lead hook, to lots of punches like that, okay? And also, if I drop this hand down here and I want to throw my right now, where's it going to come from? Do I have to bring it back up here to release it? Or do I throw it from here? Which is not where we practice throwing the punches from. So, what I want you to focus on when we work on the jab over these next few weeks is elbows tucked in, thumbs on cheekbones, eyes looking over the top of your gloves, and then we've got that straight motion with a twist. You don't have to do it fast to begin with. Sometimes speed will hide bad technique, okay? So let's do it slow until we're 100% confident. Out, turn, elastic band kicks back in, punch comes back. If we turn too early, we push. Okay, so we want that snap. At the very last minute before impact, we're turning our hand over, and then the elastic band kicks in and brings it back to our face. Okay, in future videos, I'm going to talk about shoulder turn and using the opposite shoulder to help us retract our punches and set up the next punch. But for now, let's focus on getting this jab nice and straight, going out and back, out and back. If you want to, add that step. If you're short like me, boom, it's probably a good idea to get good at this one. Boom. Okay? That's all we're going to do on the jab for now. We will revisit it later and get a bit more technical with it, a bit of movement. Okay, but for now, very basic things to practice with your jab. The jab's the most important. My jab, if I can bother you with my jab, then I can make my opponent want to chase me and feel this. Have a look at Georges St. Pierre.